In an age of disinformation and fake news, the issue of climate change suffers from accusations generated by multiple conspiracy theories. So let's clear some things up. The raw data collected by NASA contains non-climatic temperature jumps, often due to station moves or equipment updates. NASA takes this into account by adjusting the data to remove these influences in order to see how the temperature is genuinely changing. The range of carbon dioxide emitted by volcanoes is between 65 and 319 million tonnes per year. Humans, on the other hand, emit around 30 billion tonnes of CO2 per year. That's around 100 times more than volcanoes. Despite what many people may think, the climate is not inherently cyclical. It needs a change in energy. This could be due to an external influence, such as an increase in solar output, or because solar output becomes trapped by an increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide. On the contrary, a primary piece of evidence suggesting humans are causing climate change is the rise in atmospheric carbon dioxide from 280 parts per million to over 400 parts per million in the last 150 years. It started when we entered the Industrial Revolution, and is the largest release of CO2 seen in the past 66 million years. But there are other factors that suggest we are the cause. Carbon can exist in different forms known as isotopes. Carbon-12 is the most common isotope, but certain processes can form carbon-13 in the atmosphere. The difference between these is known as the isotope ratio, and this has changed due to the current amount of non-atmospheric CO2 in our atmosphere, which is generated by the burning of fossil fuels. This is causing the planet to steadily warm as the carbon dioxide traps heat, contributing to a change in climate. Climate change itself can't be accounted for by the increase in solar activity. Since the year 1750, the sun's energy has remained fairly constant. Even if it hadn't, we would expect to observe warming in all layers of the atmosphere. Currently, the uppermost layer is cooling, while the innermost layer is warming. This is consistent with the theory that CO2 is trapping the heat. A recent study by world-renowned researchers even revealed that a third of all carbon emissions released since 1965 was generated by just 20 major fossil fuel companies. Collectively, they generated an absolutely staggering 480 billion tonnes of greenhouse gases in the last 54 years. That's 35% of the worldwide contribution. The scientific community now overwhelmingly agrees that climate change is driven by humans. While a lot of our greenhouse gases are generated by massive corporations, this doesn't absolve everyone else. Everyone can take steps to lower their personal carbon footprint. Eating less red meat always tops the list. So much carbon and methane is generated by livestock and farming for meat produce, so attempting to lower this could actually go a long way. Don't continue to buy fast fashion that you'll wear a few times and then throw out. It'll end up in a landfill and generate methane as it slowly rots. Buying better quality, longer lasting clothing will do you and the environment some good. Don't forget to avoid plastic bags, and try to shop responsibly, using sustainable products wherever possible. Unplugging devices when they aren't in use and using LEDs when you can will help you be more energy efficient. If you can, walk or share public transport to help curb an average of 5 tonnes of CO2 produced by your car every year. If everyone took responsibility for their carbon footprint and followed even a few of these steps, it would reduce the amount of greenhouse gases released into our atmosphere and collectively help curb the detrimental effects of climate change.